Alright, here's the other deck that I'm going to be trying to play, which is the Stark Banner of the Sun. Now this is also kind of a lame deck, a different type of lame deck from the Shadows stuff, but I think it is a sort of a board clear deck, or has aspects of that all the same. You could argue it has more of aspects of that than the Shadows decks do. But regardless, this is a pretty familiar deck type and deck archetype. More typically, it's been Martell Banner of the Wolf. And for Stark Banner of the Sun, I didn't particularly want to play a deck like this. And at first what I wanted to do was to somehow make a Wyman Manderley with the Martell dude that comes back from the discard pile. What is his name? House Dane Escort. I wanted to make that combo work somehow. But the Stark sacrifice stuff has just been nerfed so hard into the dirt. I was like, okay, I can play Wyman Manderley, but then I can't play literally any of the other cards that combo with Wyman Manderley normally. So what is even the point? I can't play Great Hall, I can't play Mura, I can't play Flea Bottom or Skagos, can't play either one. And then I was just like, this is just not going to happen. So, unfortunately, the consequence of them going so hard after that type of Stark play on the restricted list is that what Stark is left with instead is this type of deck, which just has Ward as the restricted card, and all the rest of the cards that you don't have access to aren't so big of a deal. And so we've got a deck with like the Heron Halls. Ice, I did not find room to put the attachment Ice into the deck. Maybe I could cut like a couple economy, like an Old Gate and a King's Road, and put in a couple copies of Ice. I think maybe I'll try one game with that. But other than that, pretty much the cards you would expect. Winter is Coming, also only 2 copies. And that's because it's a banner deck, so I had to put 12 orange cards in it. That's why some of those cards that otherwise would probably be in this type of deck have not made the cut, because I had to cut something somewhere, and I didn't want to go below 30 characters. It's pretty lame to have the orange cards just being 6 icon attachments, then 3 Meadowlarks and 3 Viper Eyes, but again, that's sort of the reality of the situation. So originally I had a few orange characters in the character list, like an Ariane Martell and Nymeria Sand and some stuff like that. But the problem is that the deck gets so much worse when you can't use the loyal start character stuff, such as the Bear Island Scout, Alisane Mormont, and Oldgate. And then when I was looking at it again, I was like, well, that's the only reason to even play this deck out of Stark Faction card. Like, if you're not even able to use those, then what loyal Stark cards are in the deck that are even good or worth having? It's like Summer, and that's it. Who's not even that good without Flea Bottom. So that's basically what I thought is, how can I make this have only Stark characters and also 12 orange cards, and is that still good? And this is what I came up with. Meadowlark is pretty cool, pretty funny, I think, and does fit the deck because there's a lot of really good 2 or even 1 gold cards that you can go and get with Meadowlark. So it doesn't have to stay in play very long at all in order to do a lot of work. And the funniest combo that I haven't done yet, but hopefully at some point I'll get to do it, is you get 2 tokens on Meadowlark and you sacrifice Meadowlark in like Dominus Phase or something to bring in the Arya Stark that's 2 cost, and you go Valar Morghulis. That would be really funny. I haven't done it yet, but at some point. That's probably not as good as it would have been before Return to the Fields came out, though. Return to the Fields nerfs that a lot, but it's still too much of a funny combo to pass up and not use. And I've emphasized a lot on locations that sacrifice and don't stay in play because I'm playing Political Disaster. It's very rare that I'm able to squeeze Political Disaster into a deck. I tend to like my locations. But looking at the list for this deck as I originally had it, I realized Political Disaster can actually work. So I tried to optimize it towards having as many locations that sacrifice as possible to set up Political Disaster. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. We've got the Bear Island Scouts, couple Bolton Flares, which seems like it's bad with all of the low-cost characters that you have. But it's also really good because if you can target an opponent with it, then you bring it out of Shadows, and then you have a bunch of ways to get rid of it. You can, I mean, literally, 1, 2, 3, 4 of your plots, more than half of your plots, allow you to remove Bolton Flare off of your board. And then you also have like Ramsay Snow and things like that. 1 Great John Umber, just 1. He's not that important. He's a bit expensive, but He sort of made the cut, I guess. You could also have like a Jason Mallister in here. Honestly, Jason Mallister might be better because he only costs 4. But you can't go wrong with just one copy of Greatjon Umber. Ramses, Rickons, She-Bears, Summer, White Harbor Watchman. I'm not sure about this card. I was just looking through the list and I was like, I want more cheap, efficient dudes, and nothing, like, just nothing was standing out. And so I saw this card and it's like, okay, he's cost for strength with military. You can put him in with She-Bear, and his ability absolutely matters because he can troll on a bunch of cards like Robert Strong or the Targaryen dude that puts a card into play from your deck, Aegon Targaryen. I have had games where a Targaryen opponent had an Aegon Targaryen that was, I mean, he had a card in Shadows, and he was never bringing it out. So it was probably Aegon Targaryen, and it was Aegon Targaryen. And he had to wait until like plot 5 to actually use it because I had one of these in play up until that point. So yeah, lame deck, straightforward, but it gets people. At the Gates, Exchange, March, Disaster, Return to the Fields, and Dohaeris and Morghulis. You might could cut one of the 2 Valars for like, I don't even know what you would use instead, maybe Close Call or something. But I think this list is probably fine. Oh, it's not going to let me join. No! I'm also not trying super hard to make like the greatest deck ever because like this isn't a deck that I'm super excited to play. So if I lose or get stomped on, then it's kind of okay. That's fine. But my testing record with this deck was very positive because of course it is. I found that I was able to derp out quite a few people with it. All right, join the game, please. Let's look at characters while we're waiting. What was I mentioning just now that I was like, oh, you could put in the deck, but there wasn't room for it or something? Oh yeah, the plots. Like, what could you put in instead of a Valar? So you could go with you win or you die, but I don't like this plot. Every time I try to use this plot, it's like trying to play a deck without a dedicated draw plot. As soon as I take it out, I immediately regret it. Like the first game that I play with it. And you win or die, you die is like that. Like I'll try to put this in a deck, and immediately the first game that I play, I end up discarding like 5 cards with this plot. So I just don't trust it. Targaryen Steel. Alright. Oh, can we set up this whole hand? It's pretty good. The icon removal attachments have to be pretty good against the Targaryen Steel stuff, but you will get screwed by Shadow of the East. So that's something to watch out for. I think this matchup is one where you're just going to have to hope to like blow up their board or something like that. There's the Shadows card, which is nice because we had the White Harbor Watchman. Yeah, I probably should cut at least one King's Road, so put in whatever I was suggesting to put in instead, like an ice or something. Because you can see the cost curve of the deck is so low, it's like there's not even any characters that cost 3 or more to use the King's Road on. It's kind of funny. At the Gates might not need to even be in the deck. If I want to be a scumbag, I could play Naval Superiority. Let's just do Old Gate because the hand is so cheap right now. See, this is a situation where Bolton Flare can be good. Like, if he kills my Winterfell Steward, and then I military claim his Targaryen Loyalist, this dude can come out and kill something. Since he has 2 of these, I can just, like, King's Road it in. I think my one cost... Do I have a Rickon? I think I do. Yeah, I do have a Rickon. Should we play another one? I mean, we really don't need to. The board is so wide, there's no need to play another one. I guess so I can use my old gate, I'll just do it. Well, that didn't really work, but sure. But I can like play one of these to get out of my hand. So there's no summer plots, so if that is Shadow of the Eastern Shadows, it will get discarded to remove a tainted, which is good. But I figured it was a character because he was saving 3 gold, so it was probably something that cost money. Now because he's first player, he does get to use his reaction before I kill it. But that was a crappy one, because doesn't it have to go on your character? Yeah, you have to attach it to your own character, so... I mean, Pinch is obviously still worth it with Steel, but... hopefully he'll do a military. Alright, this is good because I get to Viperize him. So Cheese. He should not do this military because I have Bolton Flare. That was a terrible first turn, man. Terrible for him, I mean. I don't think he had any locations in his hand. So I'm just going to do Political Disaster on this next plot, I think. Return to the Fields might be good, but is he really going to Valor Morgulis? It would not be a smart idea if he did. So let's just do this. Alright, do we want the 2-cost Arya Stark? I don't know. Let's just get like a 2-cost character. Do we want a duplicate? Jeez. If I put this out and then he Valars, like he definitely might Valar Morgulis. So let's get a duplicate. I only did that because I have another Meadowlark in my hand. If I did not have another one, I would not sacrifice that one, because there's obviously no need to do that this turn. This is so dumb. And like now my Bolson Flare has to target my own guy, but it doesn't even matter. And it is still blocking him from playing anything that costs less than 3 gold. Like having to kill one of these Bear Island Scouts for Bolton Flare does not really matter. Although, actually, with the Bolton Flare, I'm probably going to target Doria, is what I'm probably going to do. That is one bad thing that you just saw that I forgot to say, which is that whenever I did ward on Doria, it discarded my Tainted because it has to go on opponent's character only. So if you ward the opponent's character that has one of the icon attachments, it discards it. But I think they're still worth it. They're not. They're really there to troll on big characters. So if you're having to put them on a character that can be a ward target, it's not a big deal that you had to discard it. So we will not do a military, because if we do military, he will pick Viserys and discard ward. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to be forced to kill Viserys with the Bolton Flare, which is really bad. That's a very specific situation where the Bolton Flare might actually be bad, because he's going to kill Viserys and then discard ward off of Doria. But if he discards the ward off of Doria, then the Bolton Flare can target her, because she'll be back on his side. So it comes out to be a wash, I think. I'm guessing his card in Shadows is a Pinch of Powder, which is irrelevant right now. Won't do anything. I messed up because I should have done a power with Doria before doing the military. Then Doria would be kneeling. Now he gets to do an intrigue with her, or power if he really wants. So that's a slight misplay. But I could have played around that, and Doria will now still die to the Bolton Flare. So Bolton Flare doing plenty of work. I'm not going to use the Brand duplicate. Well, I probably should have, actually, because of Return to the Fields. That was a misplay. If I wasn't going to return to the fields, then I should use the duplicate. I mean, I shouldn't use the duplicate. But this way, if he does a reset, though, I can sacrifice 3 and keep Bran with a duplicate, and that's still pretty good. Oh, I got hit with 4 reserve. No. I'm putting him first because I have a negative attachment. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do it. Draw phase. This is draw phase. Damn, I want to get an economy into play. But if I do an economy, I can't marshal another character. Let's just do this. This is probably fine. Oh, I should have sacrificed Meadowlark to get a Winterfell Steward. That would have been dope. Oh, he played Crown of Gold. That's hilarious. See, he had to do it on the White Harbor Watchman so he can use his Aegon. Oh, after he did that, I should have brought Rickon into play because Rickon can cancel that. Damn, I didn't even think about that. That would have been so funny. I'm not doing military because of the Second Sons. Loan from the Iron Bank. Okay. I'm going first because I have Harrenhal. This is getting saved for a big character. I'm not going to use this on like a 2 cost. I'm using 4 because it's the like most practical number I can get to make Jorah defend it. Yeah, see now he cannot use Pinch of Powder because his 6 strength intrigue defended on military. Taking the opportunity there to get rid of the Umber Loyalist and stay at reserve. Is he going to return to the fields? Oh, he knew. I figured he might do that, so I should have done exchange. Should have thought about that. That's what I mean with that combo, like it's too telegraphed. I'm waiting for his gold amount to go lower. If he spends enough gold, then I might use it. But right now he still has 8 gold, so he can Marshal Khal Drogo or something, so I won't use Harrenhal. Mercenary contract. Is this seriously it? He's just gonna sit on this 1 second Suns? That's not gonna go very well. See, we can use it on her because now he's only at 5 gold, so he can't marshal any scary characters. Alright, watch this. We're gonna cheese him. Bye bye. Get Bolton flared. Your second son's Voltron will not save you, sir. I'm defending these because I don't have any claim. I'm just going to sit and win dominance by 1 point. This is also why I did not marshal Winterfell Steward, because if I do that, the Bolton Flare will have to kill it. I'm using the ability to kill him. Oh, that feels bad. He had Kaso. Why didn't he use Kaso? That doesn't make sense. Kotho's not dead somehow, is he? No. He definitely could have used Kotho. I don't know why he didn't do it. Not sure what plot to use. I guess I'll just exchange. I don't know. I think one more gold is probably better than an exchange of information. Oh, sure. I did all my resets, so now I can do this. What is he going to do about this? Surely there's not going to be many options. It might be Aegon in Shadows again. I don't think it's that big of a deal if it is. He might be able to delay the inevitable by one turn. Oh, it's a pinch of powder. Okay. There's Kotho. It's really not that good of a character to pinch. Because when you put him back in my hands, he's going to draw 2 more cards when I marshal him again. Well, you should probably pinch. I don't know. None of these are really good targets for it. I mean, you don't want to put it on She-Bear. Do the military. Come on, do it. He should pass. He should not do a military. Oh, he's going to do it. This is not smart. So first of all, I will not defend it, and I will win dominance. And this way he gets unopposed, but I get dominance, which is better for me because I'm going to go to 14 power, which is a lot better than him going to 5. Is Viserion dead? Oh, well, we're taking that, I mean. Also, I take that for military claim. And now it will not target my own Winterfell steward. So I'm like worse off with board position this turn, but I'm better off long term, if that makes any sense. He had the political disaster himself. Good job, bro. That's pretty funny. Look how bad that exchange of information is. So bad. That's the worst thing ever. The best that he could give me out of Rick on Hartree in prison. Winter's coming. It's terrible. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. It's funny. I can't help it. Oh, I should have Marshal Rick on misplay. I don't think it matters. There should not be any possible way he can avoid losing this turn. Look at my draw deck. I have 12 cards left in my deck after one plot cycle. Ooh, Second Sons. That helps a lot, actually. Because that can block the power challenge. This is still such a bad setup for him, though, because watch what's going to happen. Yeah, he has to do that, and then I do this. And he has to pick these two for claim. So he's completely board cleared again. Yep, dead. Got him! Total cheese deck. Look at this. There's like no honor or glory in winning with this deck. It's just a meme. But hey, I knew I was going to make a Stark Banner of the Sun deck, and I was like, well, what's going to be the most effective Stark Banner of the Sun deck that I can make? I'm dissatisfied to report that I genuinely think this is it. This is probably by a good margin. This general type of deck, a deck that looks like this, is the best Stark Banner of the Sun deck with where things are at. Wish it could have been different, but they put so many of the other Stark cards on the restricted list, so this is what you're left with. That's just kind of the state of things.